Hello and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the Norwegian campaign, or Scandinavian campaign, but it's the Norwegian flag. I changed it, so it's Norwegian campaign. Anyway, it's August 1896. A few months have happened since the last episode, and in that time period, Spain ended up taking the Virgin Islands. They moved all their battleships in, and there was not really much I could do. I did not have time to send my main fleet down here because I was still fighting the Germans, who have surrendered. They might have done that in the last episode, actually, the surrender. But anyway, there was no time to send more reinforcements down here, and even if I did, they would have been on very low fuel, and that would not have been a great battle. Instead, Spain has sent her main force up here. 2 task forces, one with a bunch of cruisers, and one with a bunch of cruisers and 3 battleships. So we're gonna have to fight those. Because, well, we don't have enough victory points over Spain to actually force them to surrender. But we will, if we sink these. And that will be quite a chunk of victory points, I think. Let me just show you what I did with the captured German ships. So here's the battleship I took from the Germans. I gave it Mark II 10.5-inch guns instead of the Mark 1s it had. And you might remember it had one centrally mounted main gun turret here. The Mark IIs they were too big for that, unless I gave them very, very short barrels. But using side turrets and mounting them slightly offset on echelon like this, I was able to make 2 of them fit. They can't actually fire across the beam, so it's really just 2 turrets doing the job of 1, but it was what I found I had to do to make it work. I guess alternatively I could make it a 9-inch turret here in the middle and put maybe 11s fore and aft, but this is what I went with. So yeah, that's the German made battleship, the Kronprinz. Still have to rename it. Okay, quarters still spacious. I thought I set those to standard. Okay, guess I forgot, because that's more crew than I really like having on a single ship. My crew pool is not infinite. I'm playing as Scandinavia. I don't have that huge of a population. And here's the light cruiser, the Medusa class. I gave it 7-inch turrets fore and aft. They look very huge, but they're just 7-inch turrets. I guess the turret model for the German 7-inch is just massive. And some 3-inch secondaries. And because my torpedoes are not that bad anymore, 1.7 kilometer range, so we can do some work with those, I guess. Didn't do too many changes on it. I gave it a rangefinder. So they should work quite well. Range is not bad for 1890s. Anyway, back to the map. And you will notice after I had to reduce my tech budget, because all these new ships are kind of expensive to keep in service, I am now very behind. And it's not just because I'm using all 3 of my priorities, because the AI does that too. It's also because your research speed, it doesn't just it's not just the slider here that decides it. This decides how much money of a set sum you are spending, but that set sum depends on your GDP. So you will notice the states with huge GDP, like Britain here, more than 10 times what my GDP is, they are very advanced. Still though, I did research 11-inch Mark IIs at the same time as Britain. Let's send out fleet to meet with the Spanish Armada. I think 4 torpedo boats should be enough here. I'm gonna leave Midgar behind, because it would just be awkward to have her try to work with these French armored cruisers, because they are a bit faster, and when you got different speeds, well, and also the Mark 1 9-inch guns. Not great. I have another Frenchman here. Congreve. You can move there. The other task force. Remember, Spain actually has 2 task forces here. Let's see, we're not going to include Svein and Ulf. Yeah, they can go like this. And here I am including the 3 Valhalla class cruisers, because, well, I got 3 of them. Okay, let's find them some torpedo boats. We got 4 here. They can join in. I got high hopes for those French captured torpedo boats. That leaves me with... did I do it the wrong way? I did. Didn't I? I sent out the wrong ships. Darn it. Anyway, here we got 3 torpedo boats heading out, so we can bring 1 more from Oslo. Good thing I noticed. Or I'd be sending the wrong ships out to sea. Lustenau. You can join in here, actually. Give that force a little bit more firepower. Let's see, what do we got at Helgeland? Jofer, you can stay. You can stay there. Okay, all set? I think so. Now let's see what we can do about the Spanish in September of 1896. Okay, we got 1 meeting out of that. I was hoping for 2. But I guess 1 is what we have. It's Republic and Kronprinz. The Spanish and the German battleships. Facing off against a huge Spanish task force. 3 battleships, bunch of armored cruisers, bunch of light cruisers, and 4 torpedo boats. Let's see what we can do with these Flamberger class torpedo boats. Hopefully something useful. So here we go. Enemy has 19 ships in total. I've got 10. Almost 2 to 1 outnumbered. It is evening. It's gonna get darker. Let's see. I can drop these down to 13 knots, get a little bit of cruising speed bonus. Have these guys follow the battleships. Medusa can just follow the armored cruisers for now. There we go. Torpedoes off until I need them. Torpedo boats. Torpedoes off. Enemy smoke spotted east. That is dead ahead. And there we go. Firing. Okay, I think yeah, Kronprinz is a little bit faster than Republique, so we're gonna have to detach her from the division, speed up, and then have Republique add to the Kronprinz instead. I want you normal distance torpedo boats. I can see their battleships already. Now Kronprinz can drop down in speed. And we can do like this. Okay. Let's not just run the torpedo boats into the escorts. That would not be great. And we already scored some hits. Very nice. Hopefully my torpedo boats will not be hit. Battleships can switch fire to the armored cruiser. That enemy torpedo boat there is a little bit annoying. It's gonna be swatting a fly with a cannon. A big cannon, but it's kind of zoning out my own torpedo boats. It's only got one torpedo. It's got a bunch of guns though. There we go. Avoided it. And its torpedo exploded. Nice. Okay. Torpedo boats smoke up as you are on approach to some big enemy battleships. T-15 already taking some hits, but with 1.7 kilometer torpedo range, actually getting into range of the enemy battleships should be easier than ever. And we're just gonna do them one by one here. Two torpedoes going out. We got one more. This boat has 3 torpedo tubes. Third torpedo going out. One torpedo hits. 2 torpedo hits. Engine damage and flooding. Now you get to target the next ship in the line. Two torpedoes outbound, third torpedo outbound. You may now disengage. T8 will go for San Cristobal. Hopefully Flamberge can actually get out. 1 dead, 2 effective torpedo hits. Flamberge is taking big hits though. Might not make it out. T8. If you can get your torpedoes off now against San Cristobal. 2 torpedoes, third torpedo. Get out. Now T31. Okay, T8 actually took a torpedo. T31 will also go for Santa Rosa. It's an easier target. The battleship torpedoed the torpedo boat. T31 got her torpedoes off. Might actually score an accidental hit on... No, I don't think so. And the torpedo boats are crashing into one another and causing them probably to die. Well, that's definitely not what you want. They're going to be taking intercepting hits. Yeah, I don't think T31 is going to make it either. Now, back to the gun line. My own battleships can target San Cristobal. Secondaries on the torpedo boat. Armored cruisers, you can I don't know, Buenaventura. Medusa can go for this armored cruiser with her own torpedoes. Let's see, that's Division 6. Yeah. Oh, this guy only has 1 torpedo left. Took some hits to the torpedo tubes. Take these guys to the rear. This torpedo boat is not a big threat without its torpedo. So we lost 2 torpedo boats, but luckily I've got plenty more torpedo boats in port this time. Thank you, France. Merci. Poor T31. Medusa is ready to launch torpedoes. I actually launched the bow torpedo already, but it missed. Comes the broadside torpedoes. Are they gonna miss as well? Yeah, they are. return to following the line. But we scored some pretty big hits on the enemy battleships. Didn't sink any of them, but San Cristobal is at least not in very good shape. T-31 still afloat somehow. Not gonna last that much longer. Scored a big hit on something in the smoke. Yeah, T-31 also surrendered. T-15 though, in decent shape, still has 3 torpedoes left. Ooh, and that was a huge hit on the battleship. Something else taking big hits. Let's slow down the torpedo boats, just so they don't just disappear. Armored cruisers can just keep targeting light cruisers that are somewhat easy to hit. Battleships, I want you firing AP. At 5 kilometers, I think you can go through that. What kind of armor does the Spanish battleships have? Let's take a look at them. Okay. It's this kind of setup. 12.5-inch guns, pretty big. 10.4-inch main belt. Expensive ships. Not bad. Well, not bad for the hull they're built on. That hull itself being probably the biggest weakness. But for what they had to work with, not bad. Not really bad at all. That sounded bad, but really it wasn't. Crown Prince can switch to Santa Rosa. Armored cruisers can switch to whatever this is. And let's see, T-15, who still has torpedoes left. Well, Flamberge also has 1 torpedo, but let's see what we can do about it. If it can be somehow useful for something. I want T-15 doing another run on Santa Rosa. It is the most intact of the enemy battleships. Once she gets closer, I want to smoke up. There we go. Straight ahead. Okay, now it's time to turn the way, drop those torpedoes. And the last one. There it goes. Now, home. One torpedo hit. And I think we're gonna add one more. Nice. Santa Rosa sinks due to heavy flooding. One battleship down. Let's see if we can get a second one as well. Torpedo is in the water. Nice. Can I get these torpedo boats out though? Probably. I mean, it's not looking too bad. Medusa, that armored cruiser in the back there is just a bit annoying. Please see to it that she's no more. What kind of pen do I have on these? Actually, not really enough to deal with that level of armor. So, armored cruisers, you are back to dealing with the light cruisers. Torpedo boats are getting away, it seems. Let's see, do I have a bow launcher or a stern launcher? Bow and stern. Okay. There goes the torpedoes from one side. Okay. Enemy ship had torpedoes too. Rude. Bow launcher did not want to launch. Now the enemy is in a turn. There we go. Two good torpedo hits. Yeah, Van Burge went and surrendered. Now we might get another last torpedo hit here, but probably not, because you're slowing down so much from the flooding and the engine damage. That battleship has seen better days. Medusa. Also looking like a ship that might have seen better days after that hit. Five-inch armor. 7-inch guns are not really good enough. Back to the gun line. What are we doing here? Just sailing around? Medusa can still do 16 knots, which is not too terrible. It's just not quite as good as I would have liked. Victoria Eugenia is actually kind of stabilized her flooding. We can do another last torpedo run with the Medusa. And then just rely on the ooh, something just hit you. At least now she's pretty much dead in the water. Should have a hard time avoiding my torpedo barrage. Armored cruisers. Focus, please. Listen out. You can go for Bonaventura. Set the torpedoes to save. And I want to go bow in and use my bow launcher first, which might be enough to sink it. That way I can save the side launchers for maybe going for the battleship. Are you gonna launch soon? Aggressive launch then? I guess the bow launcher doesn't want to launch. I did not think that enemy cruiser still had torpedoes left, but apparently. She did, but Medusa had more. And that ought to be enough to sink it. Yeah, it was. Not bad for a fairly cheap light cruiser. 5.9 million with the refit. And I didn't even have to build it myself. It was gifted to me by Germany. Let's see. I do have a bow launcher, right? I'm not just imagining. No, I do have a bow launcher. It just doesn't like launching. This ship is pretty much dead in the water. It is almost almost suicidal by Medusa. Let's see which launchers are on which side here. That side has launched. This side is ready. So I want to turn this way. Which is very, very risky. But here we go. Light cruiser broadside onto a battleship. Dump torpedoes. Smoke. And get out. Torpedoes will hit. Well, that was one torpedo. Don't know what happened to the other one, but... Medusa, you're done. Get out. You can play with your guns. Not bad though. Not bad. Is this battleship gonna sink? 5% buoyancy. At least now we got the enemy formation pretty much locked in place. You can go down to save ammunition because you're kind of running out. And now, having played with my torpedoes, it's up to the guns. %. Is the flooding not contained? What the fuck? Why? I told you to go away. I hate that when it just decides that no. You clicked another division, so now I'm gonna follow instead. It should be possible to remove whatever hotkey I'm accidentally activating. Okay, now back down to a reasonable cruising speed, which is apparently 10 knots. Now, Medusa, you are really going away. You've done your job. One armored cruiser deleted. Let's back up to 7%. So flooding has been contained. My cruisers have ceased firing because they are on save ammunition mode. Enemy force seems to be trying to retreat. Perhaps sensibly. Congrav. Ooh, big hits. You can now fire normally. Even if you don't have amazing accuracy to hit your intended target, at least you can maybe hit something else. It's now nighttime. So accuracy is being somewhat impaired. So 3 of my torpedo boats surrendered actually. 1 got away. But for the amount of damage they did to the enemy battleships, I will say that is worth it. Now we are hitting accidental things in the fog here. And my battleships are deleting enemy cruisers. That was a torpedo boat somewhere, taking big hits. Which is nice, which is very welcome. I like seeing that. Maybe a little bit exploitative, but here goes San Salvador sinks. Kronprinz, you can finish off that battleship now. And we're sinking some light cruisers as well. So far, so good. Six kilometers. What kind of pen do you have at that range? No, it's not actually good enough to reliably go through that battleship, is it? At this range, so we're gonna have to get closer and then switch to AP. Listen out, Bonaventura. Nice ammo detonation aboard Santiago El Mayor. Love seeing that. None of these battleships are firing back. They're too flooded. They cannot bring their guns to bear, so makes sense kind of just ignoring them for now. Do they still have a torpedo boat here somewhere in the smoke? Maybe. Santiago is going to go down. Now I can switch to AP. Well, I'm going to force you to switch to AP. There we go. A little bit of flooding is all that's needed on that ship. Republique, you've got slightly bigger guns with a lot more pen. At 4 kilometers, you've got, I would say, like 13, 14 inches. Kronprinz only has, well, got less than that, 11 maybe. Pretty big difference. But still enough. To at least go through some extended belts. Let's see, Frenchy. And the German one. I think maybe it would have been a better idea if I gave it 11.5-inch turrets fore and aft, and just a 9-inch or something on the center location here, where I had a hard time fitting something. There we go. More flooding. It's gonna sink now. And San Cristobal sinks. I think they only have that light cruiser left. I think all the torpedoes they had just disappeared somewhere in the smoke. Now let's not get too cocky with this torpedo-armed light cruiser. It can still bite, now that it's no longer tethered to a battleship. But I think it's gonna go down now. Yep, that's it. And that's a wrap for what is, I guess, the second battle of Jutland. Yeah, 3 torpedo boats lost, otherwise mostly just light damage. And we sank all of that. Nice. Very nice. Desperately ask us to sign a peace treaty. Yeah, okay, agree. Now let's send that force back to Oslo. Medusa and Flamberge are being repaired. But this force is still here, still active. Let's see, where is this Spanish force headed? It's just gonna sit there. Let's hope we can actually get a battle here. I still have a force here though, but that's very, very far away. Okay, let's go to the next month and see what happens. Either we're gonna get a big battle, which I don't think we have time for in this episode, otherwise it's gonna be very long. And if we do get a peace treaty, we're gonna design something. Because I promised I would design a Eidsvold class armored cruiser. That might have to wait until next turn though. We do get a meeting. No, we do get a peace treaty. Never mind. Can I take the Virgin Islands back? I can. I can take the Virgin Islands and a bunch of money. That leaves me with only 192 million though. I think I'm just actually gonna let them keep it. And I can take it back in a future war. Do I want to take any other ships? None of them are really that good, especially not their battleships. I did not like them like any. But their light cruisers are not bad, and I do need light cruisers. So we're just gonna see which ones are oh, that had a lot of defects. I'm gonna pick from the top shelf here. I'm not gonna take all of them. Just the ones that are not terrible. Maybe I should have kept fighting and gotten that other battle as well. I'm happy with that. 420 million. That's a nice chunk of money. That is certainly a nice chunk of money. Let's send these ships home to Copenhagen. Finances. I can max that out again. Yeah, it is as I thought. The tech budget is actually... so if you've ever gone into the save file, if you got tech budget at 100%, it actually says 50. And I'm pretty sure that is 50% of your naval budget. Yeah, it is, more or less. There are some modifications to the naval budget as well. So the more naval budget you have, the more you're actually spending on tech. Yeah, because my naval budget dropped now that I'm at peace. So even now at 100%, I'm spending less than I did when I set it down to 50. That means research is it's not going that much slower. Sped it up actually quite nicely. But yeah, there's something about how much money you make impacting tech research. It is why all the poor countries are falling behind, including me. Let's now set all the ships we can set to limited. The ones out at sea will still be on sea control, of course. And some are being repaired. Let's set that to grow at 2%. So we're going to lose a bit of money now, but that's okay. Yeah, fleet maintenance is pretty bad. I think the Valhalla class armored cruisers are gonna be, if not outright scrapped, then at least mothballed. Same with the Ulf class of light cruisers, because they just have not kept up. Yeah, let's mothball those, and Valhalla and Hugin too when they come back to port. But that leaves us with a lack of actual home-built armored cruisers. Did I ask for a... did I accidentally ask for a heavy cruiser? I think I did. Anyway, let's refit the light cruisers and then design a brand new heavy cruiser from the ground up. Alright. Triple expansion engine. Good range on these. Let's give them a little bit more speed. Very good range on these. Cramped quarters, I'm fine with that. Let's give them nickel steel and anti-flood 1. And also reinforced bulkheads. And also a rangefinder. Slightly bigger torpedoes. Yeah, it's got the 4 torpedo mounts that it can have. Now it's a little bit overweight. It's got some 3-inch casemates here. Let's upgrade them to Mark II at least. These are useless. Let's drop them. got two 7.2-inch guns here on the back, one on the bow. These guns are not bad. But I'm not sure if I like the the double guns there on the back. Seems kind of useless, but maybe maybe we can do a little cheat here. With the magical barbette that always fits. There we go. Same number of 7.2-inch guns, but now they can all fire over the broadside. Very nice. Let's give it 3.5 barbette armor. 4-inch side armor. We can put 4 on the belt as well. 1 on the fore and aft. 1 on the superstructure should be enough. Okay, I'm gonna save some weight somewhere. Let's see, soft capped. Gun cotton. There we go. That saved some weight. Can I make the okay, got a bunch of casemate armor on these 3-inch guns. They don't need that kind of armor. Can I make the 7-inch guns longer? I can. 42s. A little bit more pen, a little bit more accuracy. Liking that. Yeah, the engine efficiency. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking this light cruiser now. Too bad I only took 3 of them instead of 4 like I thought I did, because I accidentally grabbed an armored cruiser instead. That's how it is. Okay. 2-month refit for those, but I think that's a pretty decent upgrade over the Ulf class that I had. They actually got decent speed and decent range. Now, let's design an armored cruiser. It's gonna be Eidsvold and Norge. And I do have a new armored cruiser hull, which pretty much looks the part. Now, let's see. I'm just gonna go on Wikipedia a bit and look up the stats. So 21 centimeter or 8.2-inch guns. They weighed 4,000 tons. I think that's not enough in this game. Yeah, 6,000 is actually the minimum. I could do Armored Cruiser 1 for these two. I think 5,000 actually. Let's give them a let's see, what's the top speed of my 17 knots? 17 knots. Good enough. And yes, it was written with a D on the end. Alright, main tower. This one is better. Secondary tower, let's just go for the that's tiny. Let's actually give it a mast. So it had 2 funnels. Apparently I can only fit 1. I can fit them back here though. but will that look right? No, it's basically this mast here being in the way. Let's make it a little bit longer, and there we go. 2 funnels. There was also the Tordenskjold that came into service a bit before. That had 1 funnel. Centerline guns. I'm gonna take the liberty and give it 9-inch guns instead of 8.25s, because 9, being the smallest caliber in the big gun tech tree branch, they get upgraded to Mark II first, before 8-inch, which is the biggest caliber in the small gun tech tree branch. As for secondary guns, it also had some 6-inch guns. There's no place here for 6-inch casemates. Is there any place here for 6-inch? No. Sadly, 5-inch guns don't fit. So we're just gonna have to go with 4-inch guns for the secondaries. We can at least make them 4.9s and a bit longer, a bit heavier too. $57 tons per gun. Yeah. I guess we're not doing that. Now 28 tons. Yeah, that added a bunch of weight. So, not doing that. Not doing that. Any places for 4-inch secondaries? 3. 2. I think we can fit some of these. Okay, as for armor, range is not terrible. 6,000 kilometers. Not half bad. Not really half bad for guns. Increased AP for the main guns. Increased HE for okay, standard AP, not semi. Thank you very much. And enhanced loading. It had 6-inch on the main belt. Didn't say anything about 4.5 belt, but I guess it can taper down to 4. The ship is already overweight, and I haven't even armored my turrets. Okay, turret armor. I think it had 8 on the turret sides. Let me check. 229 millimeter on the turret, which I guess equals 9 inches, thereabouts. There we go. Very overweight now, though, so we're probably gonna have to drop the range down a bit again. As for what else we have to drop, 4.5 belts. I'd like a little bit of armor on the 4.2 casemates. At least 1 inch, so they don't just explode. Yeah, I guess I have to build 2 of these, because I promised. But also, yeah, they're a little bit underwhelming. 23 million compared to the yeah, a little bit cheaper than the refit Austrian cruisers, but I would not say as good. Same price as the French ones, but also probably not as good. So now let's design something that is hopefully a little bit better. Also an armored cruiser. This time going for the Armored Cruiser 2. 17 knots, so it doesn't outpace the line. I want some decent tower spotting on this. I can put that there, maybe fit a gun in front of it. And same here. Three funnels. Moon in. Nice name. Center lines. I can't fit 11s on it. Let's see, just compare 10s and 11s. I think the 11s look better. 143 tons, 172 tons. Let's see, with the standard AP, thank you. No, not white powder. That is very explosive. Enhanced coincidence. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. And give them both 10 inches of turret side armor. You can put 8 on the barbettes. 0.6 on the turret tops. Now, what do they weigh? 340 tons versus 300 tons. So 40 ton difference. That's not that big of a difference. Reload time 81 seconds. 65 seconds. AP range 9 kilometers. 11.3 kilometers. At 5,000 meters, 2.5% chance to hit with AP. 1.9. Pen at 5,000 is 9.1. 11.4. If I were to make these 10.5s, we're closing in on the same weight here. 403 AP damage, 469 AP damage. And this one is 50 caliber length. If I max out the length on this, best I could do is 42. 361 tons. 10.2 at 5,000. 2.2% chance to hit. 2.5. No, the 11 is better. 107 ammo weight, 115. Yeah, the 11 is just better. Now, if I increase the length of barrel on this 53 caliber, we got 93.2 second reload time, 369 weight per turret. Oh, same as the 10-inch guns that I upgraded. Let's move them a little bit further apart. That's going to stretch the citadel, but it's also going to give me better firing arcs. Yeah, 2.6 chance to hit at 5,000 meters. For the time being, that is not bad. What kind of casemates can we have here? Not really a lot of room for secondary guns on this. No, not really. How about side guns? Like, does that fit anywhere? No. Nope. Let's add some 2-inch guns. Just a couple. And then some casemate guns. Okay, let's play with the armor. 6-inch. Overweights. Darn it. Already overweight. And that's with a cramped crew quarters too. Let's remove some of these casemates. Let's go 4 on the main deck. 2 on the fore and afts. Oh, no. There we go. Conning tower needs a bit of armor. 2.3 is apparently the maximum. Can I increase the main belt just a tad? Yes, I can. Casemate armor just a little bit. Forward offset. If I no, that cannot be moved further back. Gotta move the whole stack of stacks. Like so. I could go for increased shells, but that'll make it more explosive than it already is, which is quite explosive. But that is a big armored cruiser. Okay, I can move this a little bit further forward so it looks better. That's a big armored cruiser. That is almost like a an early expression of a battle cruiser. Yeah, range is heavy. Bulkheads is heavy. But yeah, I think it's probably not bad. Can I add torpedo launchers? 2 on each side? I can. 16-inch. 1.7 kilometer. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. It could prove useful. Maybe. If I reduce the beam by 2%, that saves me some weight, improves my range a bit. Makes the ship a little bit less stable, but not really that much. Let's see what that beam actually does. Better acceleration, better engine weight. Turning rate, deceleration, gun damage, all that stuff is worse. Resistance is actually pretty bad on this hull. It's bad enough that I get plus 3% gun damage. I can build 2 of these and 2 of the Eidsvold class. I think that's what I want to do. I mean, for what it is, Yeah. And I would like to design a battleship too. I do have quite a few battleships though. This is the battleship 4. Yeah, still no Mark II 12-inch gun, not yet. Can I even get a good tower on this? Not really that great. Well, from Tower 1 it's better tower spotting than front Tower 2. Who would have thought? What kind of secondary guns can you place on this? Can you place the 7-inch turrets? If I make it a little bit wider. Now they can turn. Now they are too big, but if I make it wider again... How wide does this have to be to actually fit? Okay, say I make them 7.6, 7.5, 0.4, and they fit. There we go. That works. Decent secondary battery, I would say. I'm not going to build this now though, because this episode is long enough, but maybe I'm going to build it in the time skip that will now happen until the next episode, because we're now at peace. And I'm just going to spend a couple of years building economy, researching things, and getting things in order. What is the plan in the not very long term here? Well, I want to liberate Finland from the Russians. Being essentially another Nordic nation, they deserve to be part of the Norwegian Scandinavian Empire. As do their cousins, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And of course I want to take back Britain. Revenge for Stamford Bridge. Yes. And perhaps even Vinland? Maybe. We'll see. In the future. Goodbye. And take care.